Welcome to Sports Final Round. I'm Jay Conley, and we're on location at Mavericks Bar and Grill in Tewksbury, Mass.
And I'm Darren Sventon, and here with two beautiful Sports Final Round ring girls to represent.
Yes, ladies.
Ladies, thank you for being here with us, and Cherish, thank you for you and your family for having us here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and if you want to come visit me and Katie and some other fabulous bartenders, come visit us on Friday nights.
That's right. Great. I've been here a lot of Friday nights. It's a good time. Thank you, girls. Thank you.
See you later.
All right. Here we go. That's right. That's the ratings booster right there. Listen, we're going to have a great show tonight. Mavericks is a perfect place to have it. You guys told us to come down, get outside the studio, join our fans, and here we are.
On location, but we're live right now. It's unbelievable. There's a big crowd here. We're going to talk Patriots. We're going to talk Celtics, Bruins.
That's right.
A little NCAAs at the end, too.
So, you said Bruins, we got a boom out there. They do. They deserve it. They deserve it. But that's why we got Phil Smith, the Bruins doings. He's going to join us a little bit.
Yeah.
I bet you, the way how fiery he is, I bet you he's got some things to say today. Can't wait for that.
Some new news today in our Patriots. Right now they signed tight end Algie Crumpler to a couple-year deal. Big tight end.
You know what?
275 blocker.
Minus signing, but I'll tell you what, the guy was a blocking tight end for a 2,000-yard rusher last year. Can't hurt. They lost Walton, they released Baker, so why not bring him in? I like the signing.
Do you see him pick up a tight end in the draft too, or what?
Doesn't he always pick up like 3 or 4? Seems like.
The last two he picked up in first round, Daniel Graham and Ben Watson, are both gone. So you know what? It's pretty much, does Brady use the tight end that much or not? We have no idea.
No,
you know?
Ever since the Edelmans or the Welkers have come in, the tight end position's pretty much been lost for the Patriots. But you know what? They love to have the blocking times. They don't catch as much as the old days with Bledsoe to Coates. Those days just aren't there anymore. But you know what? I like the signing. You know what? It's low cost, and the guy just needs to come in and block. That's all he needs to do.
Let's get right to the point with Belichick, though. He's going to be doing the defense, too, also head coaching.
Right.
I don't want to see it happen.
Me neither.
I don't want to see him doing two things at once.
When they were winning championships, you knew Romeo Crennel was the defense coordinator. You knew Charlie Weiss was the offense coordinator. This tells me he doesn't believe in his coaching staff. He doesn't think there's a guy out there that's better, that can rely on him to being the defensive coach. You know, I don't like it. I don't think it brings good camaraderie to the coaching staff.
Well, think about this. He gets rid of Dan Pease, right?
Yep.
Where's Pease go? Where do you take off to, right? Denver?
Did he go to Denver?
Right.
I was going to say one of the rejects out there, you know, with Mangini and McDaniels, but they're not really making a shine. I think you're going to see a lot more signings after the draft. Some teams don't address the needs that they do.
Yeah.
And you know what? You're going to see the TOs get signed and the Shoppers after the draft.
You mentioned Terrell Owens. You could see that guy going to, they're almost saying Cincinnati, but Cincinnati signed Antonio Bryant. I mean, they dumped Lavernius Coles.
Right.
Coles is still out there. But you know what? Let's get to what's going on. Happened yesterday with the Bruins. Cook and Thornton. We're going to bring in our specialist, we call him.
Yep.
Phil Smith from Bruins Doings.
Phil Smith, Bruins Doings. This is the man you want to hear about. Listen.
Yes.
Hey guys, glad to be here at Mavericks. Yeah. All right, let's get right to it. Embarrassing. I'll just let you go because everyone saw the segment of yours last week. You pretty much went crazy on the Bruins, and I don't know how you're not going to go crazy now. Please.
Give us your
breakdown. I was going to fight Mike Milbury, as you remember from last week's rant, but Milbury's off the hook. I think he's handled it like a gentleman. He knows, you know, when someone gets payback, they get payback. Matt Cook got a good one in the face, you know. Sean Thornton popped off the helmet, said, "How you doing, mister?" Like, you know. Basically, how's my ass taste if you want to, you know?
I don't really know much about the unwritten rules in hockey. I love how they both just, they nudge each other and they go, all right, that's all.
That's it. The gloves are off. He offered to take the helmet off himself. He took it off for him.
Right.
Now listen, Chara got in a fight later on. It was like two guys throwing Chinese yo-yos at each other's heads.
Let me ask you that question, Phil. You saw Cook, they fought him in the first 5 seconds of the game, right? But after that, he was skating around the rest of the game. They should have taken that guy's head up every opportunity they could.
He could have been like the guy from Slapshot skating around his jockstrap. He didn't need equipment. Nobody would touch him clean. The game is, in the clean game, you can get away with hits where you can really put some damage on somebody. They didn't touch him. They didn't touch Crosby. Malkin had a little boo-boo, so he wasn't out there. But you can go after these guys within the rules of the game without getting suspensions, because Colin Campbell, being such a jerk that he is, never penalizes a Bruin. Yet, he comes to the game to make sure he polices this one right, make sure it's handled right. They gave him a little bit of payback with Sean Thornton basically winning the 7th player award for the Bruins since nobody else would step up.
He should have won the first 2, 3, 4, 5s, every play. That team is it's brutal.
It's an embarrassment.
Let me ask you this. Why isn't Colin Campbell telling every team I want to see 3 or 4 fights a night? Just think about what's going on. Think about what's going on. They need ratings. Hockey right now is getting no ratings.
If Colin Campbell didn't want them to fight, he would have suspended them, and Matt Cook wouldn't have been in the game. Colin Campbell wanted to see the fight, but he wanted to make sure it wasn't a cheap shot, you know, Ally Afraidy style, where you end up in jail for 2 weeks up in Canada. He wanted to make sure it was clean. He wanted to make sure it was gentlemanly like the old timers. But I'll tell you what, in a building full of the 1970 Bruins champions, guys like Johnny Bucky.
Johnny Bucky, they
spelled Busic's name wrong. Are you kidding me, Nesson?
This is how bad.
Seriously, we're going to take over the Nesson crew in a couple weeks. Johnny Bucky. He's only like one of the greatest Bruins ever. Johnny Busick, the Chief. In front of the Chief, Hy McKenzie, a little guy who would fight. Derek Sanderson, who once said, one thing about fighting 5 guys is there's a lot of heads to hit. You know, these guys are in the building. Cam Neely was clearly disgusted today when he said, you know, you got the flu. Sometimes the best thing for it is a good sweat. Basically, he meant if I was there, I would have buried this honcho.
I heard the same interview on the radio today. Tell me he wasn't being politically correct. And you know what are you going to do? He's got to be a company man, but you know he just wanted to lash out. But let me ask you something. I heard a good point today. The only reason, would you agree with this, that Colin Campbell was there last night is make sure nothing happened to Sid the Kid. That's it. They don't care if Cook got his head knocked off. He's not the stopper. He's not the NHL. Sid the Kid is the face because of the Olympics, him and Ovechkin. That's the only reason they were there, Jay. They don't care about Savard at home. You know, ice packs on his head. It was making sure.
3-on-1 on Cook. They wanted to make sure, like Phil said earlier, it was a 1-on-1. They didn't want to see a 3-on-1 pounding of this guy. You know? I
just disagree. I think they did not want anything to happen to Sid the Kid, the face of the NHL. That's the only reason. Would you agree?
I would agree, and I'm one of the few people who thinks the NHL needs to get back to the 70s style, you know, rough and. It's a dying sport. The Olympics, everybody's all excited. The NHL comes back, everybody's like, hockey what? That was the highest regular season Bruins game in history, and it was a dud. It was a dud.
The first 10 minutes, the crowd was going crazy.
Sean Thornton fought Cook with 2 minutes in. So, all right, you got the 2 minutes, you get the crowd into you, and then all of a sudden they just played with no desire. It was terrible.
And that's the problem. I mentioned it to him last couple of weeks ago about Lucha. He should have went out and fought the next biggest guy in that team.
He didn't.
Claude Julien came out and said they had the flu. They got delayed in the airport.
Unbelievable.
This is an NHL hockey team?
I know.
This isn't the French Pears ice dancing team.
It's so true.
Come on, Bruins, you're an embarrassment.
That was a
some skates too, Phil, out there.
You know, Cam Neely, I think, wanted to strap him on last night and go out with just a pair of skates. And
I wanted to see Terry O'Reilly go out there.
I'll tell you, I'd rather have Terry O'Reilly at this age than anybody on the Bruins squad right now. At least Chara tried to stir something up and get the bench excited. He's trying to get people fighting, even though his